As you know, are we on? Okay. We're having to get this done by 5 o'clock. Because we have the budget meeting at 5 o'clock. And everybody wants to be here for that. All exciting stuff. So we're moving right along in here.
That's kind of.
I'm already in, okay, motion to convene. We already did that. Minutes of the previous meeting, regular council meeting, March 17th. Have you got that one, Bill?
I'm getting there.
I'm kind of rushing things today.
Some people just have a tough time keeping up.
I know it only takes 29 minutes to come from Alma to here.
There they are.
That's the best time I've ever had.
That is correct.
Don't tell anybody.
I had it all along.
Moved by Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor Caldwell, the minutes of the March 17, 2015 council meeting be approved. All in favor? Okay. Additional items disclosed as other business. That one? Yeah, I just gave you
Yes.
that one.
Oh, no, this is under correspondence. That's all.
Oh, you got a correspondence? Okay.
But I do have one
Okay.
as well. Yeah.
Judy?
And Judy.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I might have one too.
Oh, okay. All right, good.
I do.
All right, resolution moving council in the committee of the whole. Moved by Councillor Dirksen, second by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, almost said Fiske. The town of
Same
Minto
profile.
convenes.
Oh, no, more here.
In a committee of the whole, all in favor. Yeah. Oh, you're gonna get you for that. No public meeting, delegation. Glenn isn't in here?
Glenn unfortunately has his sick son, and Summer is sick, and so it's the Belinda and Chris.
All right, okay.
Last minute,
Sub.
Oh my gosh. Who? Oh. Oh, yeah.
So this is where we have to do this.
Correct.
Last couple, that's my couple. Last couple. Well, not bad. I didn't say that though.
You agree?
We have our slides here, we can follow along.
Okay, perfect. Alrighty. So, Launch It 2014 year in review. What we're going to do is kind of take you through the very beginnings of what happened when we started Launch It, and then all the way up to the end of 2014, and then a quick snapshot into what is planned for 2015. So I'm going to let Carissa get started, as she was here early 2014 and I wasn't. So.
That's right.
Okay, so this is just a little timeline of all the things that happened in the start of 2014. So February 18th, I was hired. Sorry, my print's small on here.
Yeah. Even smaller here. So
we held our first board meeting on the 21st of February. And our first lease was signed for unit number 4. Sorry, this is brutal.
Unit 1. You can read it over there.
And our renovations, and then we started our renovations because we decided that we were then going to take on Unit 3. And then we were officially open as of May 5th. That's when I made the big move from Belinda's office over to Launch It Minto. And we hosted our soft opening on June 10th and our grand opening on June the 14th. Those are just some photos from our soft opening there that we had. We had Hoity Toity and McLean's Ales come and do some beverages for us. And the mayor and our chair, Glenn Hall. And that was our grand opening, so we did it along with Heritage Days and Touch a Truck and all the other wonderful things that were going on in Hairston that day.
So we obviously have to thank our funders and our partners. So RED funding, Rural Economic Development funding through the province, we have that until the end of 2015, and that's helping us accomplish a lot of things. The town used $10,000 of the county's BRE implementation fund to help programming at Launch It. And then obviously our two main partners are the town of Minto and the Minto Chamber of Commerce, and we appreciate their support in this endeavor. In terms of our partners, these are our partners that help with programming and promoting of our services and vice versa. So the Guelph Wellington Enterprise Center largely is a supporter of us in sending Harold, their small business advisor, up to meet with our clients, as well as offering training sessions for us up here, whatever we're looking for, they're always there to assist us. Saugeen Economic Development and Warley Wellington CFDC are always there. We cross-promote our training sessions and they assist us with finding trainers. The Business Development Bank of Canada, obviously a funder that we refer clients to if needed. And then Innovation Guelph has been kind of our mentor in terms of incubator.
So I guess it was about last summer, Jamie Doran, CEO of Innovation Guelph, approached us and asked us if we would like to be a part of a new initiative called the GIN, the Guelph Innovation Network. So the GIN is still working on getting off the ground right now, but essentially it's a partnership of a bunch of different business centers and incubators in Wellington County and surrounding area. So one of the main focuses of the group is to join together to lobby for funding and also to provide a bunch of services that as small incubators we might not be able to do on our own, but by working together hopefully we are able to provide those services to Wellington County, especially since so much focus is on Waterloo and the KW area as an innovation city there.
So our 2014 board, this was the board that helped us get everything going. And I won't read through the names because you can see them there, but obviously this group was instrumental in getting Launch It launched. And then we'll see the new board coming up later on.
So this just outlines some of the advertising initiatives that have happened through 2014. So in July, I visited Minto businesses with a survey, essentially letting local businesses know what we were all about, what we were planning to provide, and if those services were going to be of interest to people. At that time, we were really still trying to find our focus and our way of what services were going to most benefit Minto businesses. I think we're still kind of working on that, but it's become a lot more streamlined since then. In September, I presented in front of the Howick Township Economic Development Committee, and we were really well received there. And I was a guest in September as well at the Mapleton Business to Business meeting. It was a small crowd there, but just another municipality that we are still hoping to link with in the future, but that was a good way to get ourselves out there at least. We had a booth at the Town of Minto Job Fair in October where we were able to reach a few people. And in November, I presented, and we also had a booth at the Wellington County Business Resource Breakfast. And I also attended all of the Economic Development Planning Committee corporate calls to get ourselves out to businesses that are in the town of Minto as well. And these are just some of the promotional materials that we had made. On the top and on the right-hand side is our rack card. That was our first big promotional material that basically outlined all of our services that we had at Launch It, mostly for tenants. And the bottom there is just a copy of our brochure that we had made up for our Business Excellence program, which is now graduated into the Business Flight program, which we'll touch on later, but that consists of our training, mentorship, coaching, and networking programs. These were just a couple of ads that Andrew Gowan, who was a former board member, is now on the marketing committee for Launch It, and myself put together and had Irmgard at Innovative Print make up for us, and those have been used mostly in the rural routes on the economic development page. And thank you to Innovative Print. We had these great window decals made up that really gives us a nice stage presence, I guess, from the street and brings some attention to our storefront. We had our promotional video made, thanks to Wellington County for the funding for that. So that was great, and it's being used lots now. We also were featured on Whiteman TV on a show. We did an interview for them as well there.
So just to highlight the rooms, this is our boardroom, and it has been accommodating a ton of meetings. As you know, it has a large smart screen TV, conference system, and a whiteboard. And then the meeting room there is a great space for smaller meetings and private meetings. So I think Chris has done up like some statistics. You can see the boardroom usage, and then you can go to the next slide. And then these are all the groups that have been meeting there. So it's really become a hub for groups meeting in our space. I know we've had quite a few municipal events there, and it is just a nice space to have people in and work through stuff, so it's good.
So one of our very first tenants, and the reason that we really initially took on Unit 3 as well as Unit 4 is Innovative Print and formerly Kimball Printing, so they've been great. Also McLaughlin Financial, Joe McLaughlin has his satellite office in Unit 3. And of most recent, Triton Engineering also has an office with us there to supplement their main office in Fergus.
Okay, so the Business Excellence Program is now changed to the Business Flight Program, but it included services for people in-house as well as those out-of-house that don't need the rental space. But it had mentorship, training, coaching, the networking, and what we did last year for all our Pitch It finalists, we offered them a free membership in the Business Excellence Program. So there were 6 people in the program right off the hop.
So this is just some statistics on number of attendees to any of our training sessions. So as you can see, as we've carried on here, our numbers just keep escalating, which is great. And as you'll see next year, I'm sure, when they do the 2015 review, they have only continued to get better in 2015. So that's really exciting to see that people are taking advantage of the services. These are the training topics that we had in 2014, and we continue to diversify. And now as we get more and more members in the Business Flight Program, we're really trying to tailor our training towards those members as well, so we can help them with their specific business needs. We have 6 mentors signed up with our Business Flight Program, so you can see their names there, but a lot of great business expertise in our mentors, which we are so thankful to have, and they are getting used more and more all the time, as well as more and more businesses sign up to be a part of our Business Flight Program.
So in terms of inquiries, we set out with the hope of having launch it be specific to the creative industries initially, and so we are experiencing quite a bit of inquiries along that field, which is great, and that was the hope. But we're also assisting a lot of other people, so it's kind of hard to see up there. Hopefully you can see it better. But retail is a big amount of what we're dealing with as well. Because we're downtown, we're having a lot of people come in inquiring about downtown retail. So we're able to help with that a lot, which is great. Arts and entertainment is another big one, which is a part of the creative economy. We have been helping a little bit with agriculture, and we're hoping to expand more into agriculture into 2015. We have plans for that later on. So yeah, it's kind of like we are helping people across the board, but definitely a strong presence in the creative economy.
So back in October, we hosted our Creative Entrepreneurship Conference, which was really successful. We had 19 attendees and 8 speakers, but actually a lot of our speakers stuck around for the day and brought spouses and brought other guests with them as well. So that 19 doesn't really sound like a big number, but it really was a full house and a success from our point of view. We started off the day with Gregory Smith as our keynote speaker, and he was really well received, and overall it was a great day, and I think we'd like to host another one of those coming up again this fall.
Ben should be here for this one.
Yeah.
Nerd night.
Nerd Night was, as the mayor has mentioned, founded by Glenn, and awesome, and Minto Computers has played a bit of a role in it as well. So it's a bi-monthly networking event that has been taking place. And I asked Glenn for some pictures from it, and he said, we cannot release pictures of Nerd Night. It's very, very top secret stuff. I think no one's just ever taken pictures of Nerd Night. But it's certainly a successful networking event that has taken place.
Did they do the one where that networked all the old games?
Yes.
Yeah, the LAN gaming, yeah.
LAN gaming? Wow. Well,
So
stays at Nerd Night.
we have a new board of directors, some of the same and some new ones. So this is our 2015 board. Again, I'm not going to read them all, but you can see who's up there and some new faces. So it's all exciting stuff. And I already mentioned that the business flight program was the business excellence program. We've tailored it down a bit and have opened it up to 10 businesses to get into this program for free. And I think we're pretty close to 10 right now. I think there's 8 or 9. And then the program will be full. So all of these people are working through assessments of their business. The mentors doing assessments. They're working together on what training they need to have. Other mentors are stepping in when their services are needed. So far, we're receiving a lot of great feedback on this program.
Another program that has just been implemented in 2015 is Meet the Professional. Accountant David A. Richenbach was our very first local professional that we had come in to launch it. He met with 6 local businesses and offered some really great feedback from the program as well as the businesses that took part. So that's something that we're hosting to hold quarterly from here on out.
So for 2015 priorities, our biggest priority this year is going to be filling the spaces in Launch It. So I don't think we'll show the videos because we're tight on time, but we did create some short videos specifically on the tenants that are in the incubator and the benefits that they're finding and being there, and hoping that our advertising that we do is going to be, again, featuring the tenants and why they think it's good to be at Launch It, and hopefully that spurs on some other interest. Last week, we participated in the Wellington North Showcase. We're trying to extend our services into Wellington North, Mapleton, and like Chris has said, into Howick, and how we can service this end of the county, and because everything is like an hour away for everyone that's here. So reaching out, making sure people know of what we have available to them and having them use it. We're also looking at business services, professional development of our staff, sector engagement and events. And when I say sector engagement, that really means looking for more partners and bringing things in. I mentioned agriculture. We've long been talking about an ag component, and Ryan Koslike and myself are working on this, of what partners we can bring in. We've talked about community kitchens. We've talked about land that we have, working with Farm Start. We have lots of ideas, so it's just a matter of how we can pull it all together and expand our networks and funding and stuff like that.
Just on that too, I was talking to Dale today in our other meeting, and he said that, I think what he said, there was 40 of the vendors, at least 40 or so, had out of their homes.
Yeah, home-based
So,
businesses.
you know,
Yeah.
which we are at Showcase, so hopefully we'll get some leads. Those are people that maybe want to expand to a storefront. I thought that was good.
Yeah, we just placed some ads on Kijiji as well, so we'll see what happens. So I guess that's the year in review, and I just want to thank Carissa for all her work that she did in getting it started, the board, and obviously I'm chaired by Glenn Hall. He was a great chair and continues to be that, and thank you to council for your continued support, and obviously the chamber and that for all that. So if anybody has any questions.
Good job.
Amazing.
Public question period, I don't, nobody has one, okay. Correspondence received for information requiring direction of council.
Just, Mr. Mayor, I have one item, number 4, 11B4, a letter from Randy Pettypiece, MP for Perth Wellington, and it's it's not a motion, sorry, it's a letter to support for naming highway in honor of MPP Jack Johnson. And I'm sorry I'm a loss for the term that Jack had, but I believe he was at least 2 terms.
Oh, maybe more.
And I think it was more than that. But anyways, he was instrumental in getting a lot of things for Wellington, and I would support, I'm assuming a letter would go to the highway?
If we just had through you, Mayor Bridge, a resolution from council supporting that initiative. It was first raised with Mr. Arnott, and then our MPP has written us to encourage our support, so this is our opportunity to do so if we wish to do that.
Thank you, and I will make a motion to that effect.
Certain, all in favor?
And Mayor Bridge, if you just wish to receive the other correspondence, unless there's things that people want to bring forward.
Motion to receive. All in favor? Councilor Caldwell, all in favor? Carried, okay. Reports committees. James Way, Saugeen, you want to just do somebody, any questions on any of the committee meeting minutes? Motion to accept. Councilor Caldwell, Councilor Dirksen, all in favor? Gotta keep rolling down there, you know. Like, okay. Committee minutes approval, launch it. Are you doing? Okay, Summer. Okay.
She's multi-talented today.
Okay, so these are the minutes of the board meeting from March 10th. As Belinda and I just spoke about, the business flight program, these minutes actually say that there's 4 enrolled, but as Belinda mentioned, we're actually close to capacity at 10 members being enrolled now, and
Wow.
There's been really great feedback from the businesses that are participating in that program. We do require that the businesses who are accepted into the program do attend all of our training and all of the events that are being held, and we haven't had any issues with that from any of the businesses, so that's really exciting. And as we just mentioned as well, marketing is going to be one of the major focuses of Launch It for this year. So from the main video that Memory Tree made up, they have now made 2 smaller videos, one focusing mostly on Triton and one focusing mostly on McLaughlin Financial. They're about 30 to 45-second clips, and they're going to be aired before features at the Norgan Theatre starting March 16th. So just another way to get some promotion.
March 16th?
That is what this says, so they must have started.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, these minutes are from the 10th, so.
Oh, that's correct.
Oh, maybe not. Was it noon? Oh, no, it's 5.
I'm not sure if it has been announced or not, but Innovative Print will be leaving Launch It Minto. They are one of our success stories that will be moving on. So they will likely to be taking on the Wilfred McEntee building in Hairston. So there's some plans that are going on with what we are going to do with the front unit that they are currently occupying once they move out. They were talking about leaving in May. So the board's currently working on some strategies of what's going to happen with Unit 3 if that unit is not able to be filled, but something that the marketing committee is really working on to bring somebody in to fill that unit, because it is a great storefront space for somebody to use. So, and I think that's about it. If there's any questions?
Questions? Nope. Motion to receive. Dr. Elliott, Burton, all in favor? Great, thank you. Cultural roundtable minutes. You guys are just taking over the whole meeting.
Sorry, I'll be really brief. Just wanted to point out that the CD launch party is May 28th.
Yep.
If you don't have that on your calendar already. We did host a big group meeting at the library last Monday night, and we had 23 people in attendance. So we were sharing when our events were, people were connecting on how they could cross-promote. Those groups that did not attend will be getting a package on all the resources we shared, and a lot of people did comment that it was helpful and they didn't know about a lot of this stuff. So I think it was a good success. We got some good feedback on their surveys in planning our volunteer summit for the fall. Khalees was at our meeting to talk about a really cool project that the IPM is working on related to the Barn Quilt Trail, and our Cultural Roundtable group has agreed to support that and help make sure it carries on pending some more information. And Launch It hosted a customer service training thanks to funding from the Waterloo Wellington and the Saugeen CFTCs, and we had great attendance. We had 22 people out in the morning and 33 people out at night, so 55 people at a training session we were very pleased with. The Chamber Business or Community Achievement Awards is coming up on April 29th. See me for tickets. And the awards nomination deadline is tomorrow. So please take the time to nominate a deserving business in Minto. We do have many of them. And last but not least, we have a new business that's going to be opening, two new businesses going to be opening in Clifford on the main street, Chestnut and Oak, and JEM Doors. So I think I'm on the agenda later to
Yes,
talk
you are.
about those, but
Good.
I'll leave that.
Any questions for Belinda? Motion to accept. Dirksen, Councillor Elliott, all in favor? Very, very good. Lots of activities happening in the cultural roundtable area. And I had a couple comments on that too from people, Belinda, that they were amazed at the information and really the speakers at that, when you had the Monday night. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there, but, yeah, really went well. Parks and Rec Advisory Committee. That'd be you, Al.
It's trying to hide.
Trying to hide.
Would you like me to highlight some of this stuff?
Sure, whatever you want.
Oh, okay. I hate like heck speaking too much for Matty. He's not well today, but
No,
his
down too.
programs are plugging along and starting up, and they're keeping our buildings popping. I guess the first set of them, I'll just go over both sets. At budget time, it was asked about the roof at the Harrison Curling Club, and it was within a week we sprung another leak. The guys came that day, fixed it up. The result, this leak was caused by the original patches that were put on. I do believe that was 2007. It was a minor repair, but it's fixed up and going. I'm sure you guys have heard a little bit about that.
Somebody must be up there drilling holes on you.
Wasn't over the ice surface.
It never showed up when we flood tested the
April
roof.
Fool's joke on you.
Yeah. We've been doing quite a bit of work, working with Tanya, trying to get this marketing plan for our facilities up and going. It's making strides, and we're working through the PRAC committee and hoping to have things a little bit more formal next month. Tanya's going to be making amendments to the website as we go along, and I think that's coming along okay. Doing a lot of work on our capital budget, and it's just hopefully waiting for stamps so we can get going on that. We are looking at our sponsorship packages again. You saw the beautiful work on the front of the Launch It building, and we're looking at possibly having some advertisements put on the front of the arenas. Is something, an opportunity we have to maybe spruce up the buildings and bring a couple extra advertising dollars. I did mention that next year in our capital budget, we're probably going to be putting in for a new ice resurfacer at the Palmerston Arena, so I brought it up at PrAC and mentioned that there's a possibility maybe a company or somebody would consider putting a wrap on it that would help out next year as we purchase the machine, so.
I saw something that was very original in Tampa. It was at Tampa Lightning game, and they had a Zamboni with seats for pedestrian, or for spectators to ride on. I don't know if we'd have the traffic for that, but that'd be neat, eh? I could go, okay, just throwing the ideas out there. I mean, you know, like, you didn't want to stick that one, eh?
Pay $30 to go for a ride.
No, I didn't. I think you had to book that a way ahead, I'm thinking. I'm sorry, Al.
That'll go along with your tuxedo.
I think it would be fun.
Oh, yeah,
Some
maybe we
peo-
could strap a
some
couple
Some
people-
people might
Yeah,
frown at that.
We'd have to put some lawn chairs on top of one of them and see how it works.
We do have a donation request that I think we should deal with. It's for the Jeff Davies Memorial Tournament. It's been run for a few years now.
Mayor Bridge, if when we had a motion on the sets of minutes,
Yep.
we would add that, approve any recommendations in that, and that would approve that.
Yeah, that's good. Yep, okay.
Sorry, Bill.
That's all right. Any questions for Al? Are you done? Oh, sorry, Al.
No, that's good. Oh, I should speak a little bit about the Lions Clubhouse. Lions member Dave Wilson got us a drawing for the clubhouse that I can make available. It came in the Monday of the PrAC meeting, so they've got their renovations lined up using the grant money from the county for accessibility, and they're hoping to get started on that. I do believe it's in July is the slow area.
I think that was the slowest 2 months, July and August, so we assume that they're gonna do it then, and that's probably the best time to help too.
Yep.
So we will circulate final
Yeah,
drawings
nice to
when
see
they
it.
come in, and just make sure that everybody's on board with the project, but we've got lots of faith in the Lions Club.
Any questions for Al? Motion to accept? I don't know, as, the motion is going to add to that,
With the recommendation.
motion to accept with the recommendation that, Councilor Caldwell, Councilor Turton, all in favor?
Thank you.
Very good. No? All right. And Belinda, back to Belinda.
Got a speaker.
Yeah, sorry. All right, so just two facade grants. I'm just going to do them both together. They're the same building, but they're two different businesses. So that is allowed. You can have one application per business a year. So for facade and signage. So both of these are for the same building, and it's the same owner of the building, but two separate businesses. So Lori is going to be making the Chesson Oaks building, which would be the former Garrett's True Value Hardware, and you'll see the improvements that she's proposed there. And then Jim Horgan is going to be doing JEM doors on the, if you're looking at the page on the right-hand side where the former funeral chapel was. And the sketch that I had put into the JEM doors one was done back in 2009 as part of our RED funding. We did sketches for 25 businesses to see what their facade could look like. And so Lori came in to see me, and I actually showed her this, and she took it back, and they ended up getting quotes to do something very similar.
So is it all going to be in the board and batten, like?
Yeah.
Yeah. But with the peak
Yes.
roof on the?
Yeah, it's a little different. Each one's a little different. So we do have $12,000 each year in facades, and this year we're going through the process right now of updating our community improvement plan and adding more incentives and more dollar value and extending the boundaries, all that jazz. But for now, if you did Lori's and you did JEM doors would be the maximum $3,000. It's a matching up to $3,000. His would definitely match and max out at $3,000, and Lori's would be just about $2,480.35. So that would leave a little bit left still for the rest of the program.
Belinda, do these businesses actually own the building?
So Jim owns the building.
Okay.
Jim Horgan, that has JEM doors, he owns the whole building. Lori will be renting the Chesson Oaks home decor space. And he's doing a door showroom.
Okay. Great. See Clifford. Organized, yeah. Any questions? No? Motion to accept. Mayor Faulkner and Councillor Turton, all in favor?
I should just quickly mention that at the home decor store,
Yes.
she's going to be featuring local people's stuff, so local furniture that's being produced in Minto that you can't really find except if you're in Toronto. She'll be carrying this sort of stuff in the store, so make sure you check it out, and I believe she's planning on opening this month. And she will be on the bus tour for the Norwell reunion.
Right. Hey, thanks, man. Maybe talk about that at the mayor's breakfast. I think it's this Friday. I had a little problem. I had a little problem this morning. I couldn't remember when it was.
9 o'clock?
Not 9 o'clock. Done by 9. Okay, clerk's assistant, provincial nomination awards. Who's doing that one? Are you doing that one, Bill?
Yes, Mayor Bridge, if you don't mind.
Okay, yep.
Back in January, you did a resolution directing us to bring forward a policy to see if we can't get more local people nominated for the various awards. We've drafted up, we've listed the awards that we felt we would want to pursue, and maybe others that'll come forward, but for now it's based on those 8 or 9 awards there. The idea here with this policy is that we would develop an email database that we would, as soon as we had the nominations in, or notice of nominations, we would circulate that to the community groups, to council and staff, and encourage you to look for names, bring forward names, consider putting in nominations, and then we would follow up a few weeks later and see if you had done that, or if you needed any help doing that, and we would offer ourselves in the clerk's department to help put forward the nominations with you. This kind of nomination is not, if it comes from a community group, just because our staff help, it doesn't mean that council's supporting that nomination, but council certainly could do so by passing a resolution of support. So that kind of is how the policy is set up. Already we have received the nomination, a notice for the Lincoln M. Alexander Award, and I believe the Senior of the Year Award. So we'll be circulating that out. If you see fit to approve the policy, we'd be starting right away. So our recommendation is that you approve the recommendation and let us move forward with this process.
Comments? I think this is a good thing, because this is one of the problems we had in the past. Is they're a little complicated for groups sometimes to do, so give them a little help, because I think we have a lot of people in the community that deserve some of these recognition awards, but they're not getting their names out there because it's hard for groups to do it. So it's a great idea.
Make that motion.
Councillor Elliott, and with Deputy Mayor Faulkner, all in favor? All right. Oh, there's working hard today, Al.
It was just asked a little while ago that we come back with a policy on how we're gonna deal with the new regulations for outdoor smoking involving sports fields and playgrounds. So we've drafted this up. On some background, I had an opportunity to speak with the person involved with enforcement with the health unit, and we just wanted to make sure that with what we're doing is okay with them. There is an obligation on us as staff and the town of Minto to make sure that the laws can be enforced. They're trying to make this a self-policing thing as much as anything, but if somebody is difficult and they're smoking in an area and they're not going to comply with the laws, we have the ability to do the one of two things: either call the police or contact the health unit with some information, and they will deal with it. We are not responsible for enforcing it, but we are being asked to, if somebody's violating the law, just to intervene and say, please don't smoke here. Were there any questions on?
Just a couple of comments, Al, out of the prac. We had quite a conversation over this, and Al was good enough. He had the information for us. And one of the questions is when's a sports field not a sports field? For example, would be the ball field in Palmerston outside the arena, and the soccer field at the back of the arena. Well, they believe it's still a sports field, even though it's not being used, it's covered in snow and whatever, so it'll still be a sports field. So a place like the Palmerston Arena, is it 20 meters out?
20 meters from a
20
sports
meters, so there's probably nowhere around, even at the back. You'd have to almost go around, go back to the back building at the end of the parking lot, be able to have a cigarette. So that's gonna be quite a challenge for different facilities that we have. And then other things that we were concerned about too was the covering. So for example, our pavilions, adjacent to ball diamonds, I think we'll have them in every facility. That now a smoking area, probably not, right?
I would
The
think
patio, and so we're gonna have,
It can be a
Mhm.
smoking area, yes, it can.
it can be,
Yes,
but if it's too close to sports field, then it won't be.
that's correct. It has to be 20 meters away, or 60 feet away from the sports field.
And the difficulty again is going to be, we felt again at prac for our staff, who quite often ball games and stuff are on the evenings, and we don't have staff on working, prepare the diamonds and stuff before that. So if somebody's smoking on the ball field, which could happen with slow pitch teams, because quite often they come out with a cigarette hanging out of their mouth, they go to center field with a cigarette hanging out of their mouth, and stuff it out before they play, or drop it when they go to catch a ball. But I guess at that time, we decided that our staff would only deal with that on a complaint. That's all we can do, and we're hoping that signs around the facility will deter people from doing it.
peer pressure.
Yeah, and Al's done a great job of researching this, and it's just, some of it's very difficult to really make any logic out of some of it. The ball diamond isn't being used. Not
For the winter.
field, so, but they say it is.
It was brought up at our meeting that this is another big step to eliminate smoking in sports areas. I think in today's society, most people are very considerate with how things happen, but for the one or two that aren't, this gives us an opportunity to speak up, yes.
Thanks, Mayor Bridge. I think the other thing too, just the threat. Somebody's standing there smoking and they get asked to put their cigarette out, and if they say no, so somebody's going to say, well, I'm going to phone the police. And just that threat could make somebody think the next time. And I agree with you, Al, and I know you've done a lot of work here. It is a big step, and it's a good step, so thanks for
Fine,
that.
Dave, too, if you remember what the fine was?
No,
$5,000 or something?
was it that much?
Yeah, something really big.
Thing is, if I'm having a
Second
cigarette,
time.
it takes me 3 or 4 minutes to have a smoke, and I can throw it out and be gone by the time the police get there. So it's not going to be easy, but, I mean, next year, we're gonna be talking about this, talking about how seamless it was.
Absolutely, because that happened with our facilities inside, too. We didn't think that was, we thought that was gonna be a real problem, but
Yep.
we eased through that pretty good.
But it is.
Yeah.
Motion to accept? Curtin, Caldwell, all in favor? Thank you. There's the chief building inspector.
CPO.
All right.
We're gonna go right to March, right?
We're gonna skip right.
Yeah.
No, we're not. No, January, February, as you can see, we're relatively quiet months, but I wasn't complaining because then I could stay in the office opposed to going outside and freezing, so it was all good. March fortunately turned itself around. So to the end of February, we issued about $250,000 worth of permits, which is about $500,000 lighter than normal. But once we hit March, we issued about 5.3 million, which is about 2.5 times our normal rate. So if you look on the back of the stats page, 10-year average is around 2 million. We're sitting at 5.5 as of the end of March, and our permit numbers are at the top of the 10-year average as well. So we're getting off to a really, really busy year, so it is all looking very good.
Any questions for them?
For that big institutional one is the library?
That is the library reno, yeah.
But what I like, and the 3 houses, single family, that's really good.
That's excellent.
Get started off.
For this time of year.
Yep.
I've got, 2 or 3 sitting on my desk that I have to review as well, so things are booming, so that's really good.
Excellent. Okay, motion to accept. Dirksen, Counselor Elliott, all in favor? Good, thanks, Jared.
Great, so my next,
Oh yeah, temporary dog
report,
control.
sorry, is on our temporary dog control officer position. Unfortunately, our long-standing dog control officer, Jim Renwick, had an incident at home, and he's unable to perform his duties while he recovers. As such, and being it's springtime and dogs are out doing their doggy thing, we need to hire or have someone in place to basically pick up the slack while Jim's recovering. So we've had a couple of people that have expressed interest because of the incident and in the past. So we asked for qualifications of these people just to see what they have for paperwork in behind them. And we reviewed what was submitted to us, and we're recommending that council approves or appoints Rick Ruwada, as the temporary control officer. He currently runs a kennel out on Road 1 North in Minto here. It's a boarding kennel. He's got sufficient facilities in order to pick up dogs, safely transport them, as well as house them until they get claimed or we send them to Owen Sound. The only difference in terms of costing is his daily kennel fees are $5 more than what Jim's were. The way that it works, if your dog's running at large and we catch it, that person will pay 100% of cost recovery. So for the dogs that are claimed, it's really no difference in terms of my budget. So for the additional dogs that aren't picked up, would be another $5 a day. So I crunched the numbers, and based on last year's numbers, it would be about another $340 that we'd be paying. But keep in mind that was over the whole year, and this is only a temporary until Jim's back. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. So good. Yes.
Bubba.
Through you, Mayor Bridge, Terry, how long do we keep the dogs that aren't claimed anymore?
Our bylaw states that we have to keep them for a minimum of 3 days. After that, we have an arrangement with an Owen Sound shelter. It's a no-kill shelter that we send the dogs up there. Unfortunately, sometimes they get packed up, so they're full. They can't accept any dogs, so we hang on to them until they have room available for it. So in my report, we had the 6 dogs for the year, 8 dogs unclaimed for the year last year, but they totaled to 68 additional kennel days just because of the time that we had to hold them to send them up to Owen Sound. Unfortunately, any of the malicious dogs that we do get the odd time, we do have to put them down. They don't want to adopt out a dog that's got the potential of hurting someone. So
Makes sense.
I know we have trappers. I know everybody knows who our dog catcher is, but when we have animals that are, a coon or a skunk or whatever, freely comes onto someone's property or even onto the town property, it's reported. I had such like that happen to me, and I wasn't sure who to phone or how to get, whether I was supposed to be phoning the dog catcher, whether the dog catcher would have access to the trapper, or who pays to pick up this animal, and it was difficult. It got handled very well by our staff. We were okay with it, but I didn't have that. The public really didn't know what to do. Does the dog catcher have anything to do with this, or what happens there?
our current dog catcher, Jim, will perform those services, picking up or trapping skunks or raccoons or stuff like that. That is beyond the scope of what Minto has him contracted to do. That's something that an arrangement, excuse me, is made through whoever's property this skunk or whatever, skunk or cat or raccoon is on, to pay Jim for whatever his rate is. Failing that, there are like pest control companies out there in the yellow pages that you could go through as well.
But we don't have anybody other than our dog catcher that we'd be able to call if somebody was at like a rabid.
Well, a rabid animal would be
Yeah.
different. The OPP could address that, being that it's a possible danger to, the health and safety of someone. But as the town of Minto, we don't offer any sort of, raccoon trapping service or anything like that.
But we could refer them to our dog catcher, and
Yes.
our dog catcher.
Yeah,
would
we
then
would,
have
we would
to-
refer to both Jim as well as to the yellow pages for
And if
pest
it was on
control.
town property, then the town would have to.
Then we would deal with it, or get Jim to deal with it, sorry.
You have a question?
Yeah, just a related question. This sort of sparked my memory, I guess. We have not received anything for the 2015 dog tags. Are we doing that differently now, or?
The way that we did it, we changed it up 3 years ago, that instead of having Jim go around to all the individual people who purchased tags before, we actually had our bylaw enforcement officer go around. He hit up as many places in the town as possible, and he left notices for people who weren't there. He did hit up the whole township, so I'm surprised.
But I thought, though, that there was something that came in our first tax bill. Was there?
There'd be a notice that you need one.
Yeah, see, and we didn't get one. I don't know whether anybody else did or not, but.
It was on, I believe, every tax bill that went out, but in
Okay.
addition to that, Jim would have previously come out to.
Oh,
your
yeah, I
place
know,
let
and I
you
know
know.
that's not going on anymore, because, yeah,
But
that was,
in the township,
that's the official.
bylaw officer went out to,
Every
everybody
property in.
that had a dog before.
Yeah. No, sorry. Jim used to just go around to the people who had tags or
Yeah.
dogs before. Cam went out to absolutely every property.
Oh, that right.
Excluding my own, because apparently he realized he knew I had dogs and I needed my tag.
Well, that's right, yeah. That's why I paid double. I'm actually hoping my dog will last one more year, 'cause I'm in a credit situation. I know. Sue paid and I paid. He paid at the
And
door,
we
I
thank-
paid
and we
in here,
thank-
yeah, I don't know why.
You two should talk.
No, we should talk more, you're right.
I saw you something.
Yeah, I know. But,
I was just curious about that, because I hadn't seen or heard anything about it this year.
Okay.
It just kind of,
Mark Judy down, we'll have to get.
yeah, mark me down, because I haven't paid yet.
I should have asked this, but through you, Mayor Bridge, will this gentleman pick up raccoons too? Or-
I never posed the question to him.
It's,
That must be a town problem, because we have raccoons on our property all the time. We don't worry about it.
well, I think the problem is when they've got distemper or something and people look at them, they think they're going to bite them. Raccoons are that bad for that.
Yeah.
Jim used to, but there used to be a cost to the person who had a
Yeah,
call,
yeah.
unless it was on town property,
Yeah.
which was always a hard thing. The OPP did come out to, I think, one last year, I think they came out and shot something.
I went out
Did you-
to, it was a raccoon with distemper. The OPP
Yeah.
came and
Okay.
somebody else actually
Shot it.
took
Okay.
care of it.
Yeah. So, that can happen, but, yeah, and unfortunately, the ministry takes no responsibility anymore for any of that stuff. I don't understand that, but they don't. And, it's another download, I guess. Let's hope, touch wood, that it's not too bad. Some seasons are worse than others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We just need a motion to approve.
Motion to accept? Motion to accept. All well. Counselor Turton, you're working hard today. All in favor?
Thank you.
Pretty easy to get your hand.
I know. Bill, you have this one.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. I believe at budget I mentioned I would bring back a report describing the improvements being made to the library. We're talking about external improvements primarily. So on the first page of your report, you have a picture of the cenotaph in Palmerston, and on the second page, there's a plan view of what improvements are being proposed by the county on the cenotaph property. You can see the sidewalk that currently comes from Bell Street into the cenotaph. That will be replaced, and on either side of it will be precast concrete paving stones. So that will enhance the look of the front of the cenotaph. And similarly, they have some paving stones in behind between the cenotaph and the flagpoles. And they're also proposing new seamless spun aluminum flagpoles at the back. So a nice upgrade to the cenotaph. And, with any luck, that'll be ready for the November Remembrance Day services. In addition to that, thought we better bring forward the plans for the boulevard area. Because the front and side of the library is primarily town property, it would be important for you to see what they have in mind for that as well. So on page 3 of your report, you can see the plan view of the library itself. So the cenotaph, if you're looking at your site plan, would be to the right of the building, and you can see a new concrete walk going into the side of the building. There'll be a canopy over there, and in that location will be where you would access the new elevator internal of the building. In front, between the building and Bell Street, they're doing again the concrete paving or finish, new planter beds, grates around the tree that's there, a new ramp into the front. I think it'll be very attractive with the new furniture and so forth. And then a new planting bed around the sort of other side of the entranceway and then along James Street. A couple of little items. There is a concrete pad for a book drop-off area between the existing Bell Street sidewalk and the curb. Maybe want to chat with the county about that and whether that might work on another location, and maybe have Public Works talk to them about the boulevard between our sidewalk on Bell Street and just what they would like to do with that. Our sidewalk at that location is only 4 feet wide, so it likely should be replaced with something that's 5 feet wide. And whether they want to go to an interlocking stone on the boulevard, or just what, I think we would want to have that conversation between Public Works and the county on that. And similarly along James Street, that's one of your major capital projects, so there'll be curbs going in along there and just making sure that the two plans meld together at that location. So we think that this project's really going to improve the look of the library and the accessibility of the library, and it's good for the town, it's good for the county, good for the cenotaph. I think the urban design in the area will really be improved. So we're recommending that you just receive the report and direct staff to follow up with the Legion to make sure they're happy with the cenotaph, and that the Public Works people speak about the boulevard treatments and the proposed drop-off box.
Questions? Now, Bill, we talked about this before. We're taking back we're going to have a land swap, right? Remember that? We don't own this.
Okay, well, I haven't been approached about whether we would
I thought you
change
were.
ownership on that, but if,
That was the idea. I
Okay.
think they wanted to, you talked about the front of the building. I think that's why I think they want to fix the sidewalks and everything, but they want to own that, where the road allowance would be.
okay, well, no one from them, the county, has spoken to me about that. I don't know, Terry, if they spoke to you, but
That was an understanding. I thought they had come to us, but I'll check back it up, because originally, I guess, when the library was deeded back over to the county, nobody thought of the cenotaph going with the property. In fact, they didn't think they owned it until they did a search. They own it. So they'd like to give it back to the town, but we're gonna do these upgrades and whatever, but, it makes sense the town reowns the cenotaph part, and they needed a little bit more frontage, because I think your road allowance brings them right up to the front door, Mike. So they're gonna put, sidewalks with heated underneath them or whatever along the front, so they don't have to shovel them, right? And for accessibility and slippage and whatnot. So those are gonna be heated sidewalks. And if it works there, I think, what would it cost us to do the whole town? Yeah, I guess the maintenance wouldn't be enough to offset that, no, okay, whatever.
Streets do that.
Yeah, do the streets too, yeah. I will go with the dome.
Mayor Bridge, for those improvements on the road allowance, I don't think that the ownership of the road allowance would need to change, but
Okay.
I
Well, they
think
talked to me
I'll-
about that, I don't know, maybe I thought they talked to you, but they didn't.
They didn't.
Okay.
But I think actually you maybe did mention to me
Yeah.
at one point, but you know what, I have not heard anything further on
Okay,
that.
well, I'll follow up on it, that's what I thought. You said about the front, I thought thought they were gonna do all the sidewalking up front.
So the drawing isn't showing that being changed, and maybe, and that discussion, I think, will be facilitated through this,
Okay.
this resolution. And you could add in, if you wish, to the recommendation that we look at ownership, but
Well, we can leave that to another day, that's fine, it's fine. Any other questions?
Nope. Sure.
Paul, there? Elliot, all in favor? Okay, good. I'd suggest back up this, go to the, show it to them, get an answer right away. Get an answer like this. Send it to them. Okay. And are you on this one?
Mr. Mayor Bridge, I did put a copy of the grading and drainage plan on your desk,
Oh, here it is.
in case you're really interested in
Oh, yeah.
minute details of how this all lays out. As you may recall, I think we did a rezoning on this property last year, and the severance was conditionally approved in May. And what is proposed on the Minto property is 6 residential lots fronting on Minto Street South. And those lots would be subject to sewer and water servicing off Minto Street, most of which is in. Partway through this process, they switched from 5 homes to 6 homes. So there is some minor relocation work that may have to happen in there to get sewer and water into that last property, but that is covered under the servicing agreement, and that would be their responsibility. So the idea at this location is, shown on your plan are the 6 lots that front on Minto Street South, and then I guess to the south of that, there would be a stormwater management pond that they would build. That pond would also service the Murray development, which is to the, I guess to the right-hand side, that'd be to the west. And all of those lots would drain into this pond, and that pond would restrict the flow onto the Allen Street area. They're right now at that corner of Allen and Minto Street. There is some ponding and flooding that occurs in the spring. This would help retain stormwater at that location. That pond and those drainage works would be constructed by Minto, Ms. Minto, and then shared when Murray comes forward on his severance. He would be contributing half that cost to her, so she would have to pay the whole upfront cost of it, and then we would endeavor to collect half of it off when he goes ahead. So the purpose of the agreement that's attached to your report is to secure those improvements needed to make sure the stormwater management pond is in place. So Ms. Minto has actually signed this agreement, and she would not, again, get release on her severance conditions until she has posted the security. Basically, if she didn't go ahead and do that work, we would cash the security and go in and put the pond in ourselves. And that pond would also be maintained by the municipality in the future, so if there's any siltation that occurred into it, grass cutting, that kind of stuff, we would be responsible for that. Also, there would be if you look at the detailed drawing, there's kind of a driveway coming off Minto Road on John Street and into the pond so that our vehicles can get in there and properly maintain that pond when it's completed. And then the big blue lot that's left, I think it's blue, is the retained parcel. And the black, between the black area is the line there, that would be an easement to the town. That would be where the water would flow out of the pond in a reduced rate out to Allen Street, and it would be collected into the storm system at that location. So, purpose of this is to recommend that we give direction, and I think there is a bylaw on for council to authorize the mayor and CAO clerk to sign the servicing agreement that has been signed by Deborah Minto.
Questions? To accept? Call well. Certain, all in favor? Okay, all right, moving on. Yep, there you go. Okay, development charges bylaw, metered water rates implementation.
Mayor Bridge, I won't go into a great deal of detail here. We have 2 processes that are going on. First is the development charges bylaw update. Our bylaw expires in June, and if we wish to continue to charge development charges, we need to update our bylaw. That process is well underway, and at our council meeting, April 21st, between 6 and 7, in the exact same setting as this, the consultant will be briefing you on the development charges information that they have, and obviously that's open to the public and the media as well to attend. So that would be April 21st from 6 to 7 o'clock. Corresponding process, you've been hearing about our metered water rates and when will that be coming into effect. We now are in a position to provide information and options on metered water rates for you. We thought we might as well, while we have the consultant here, do that on April 21st, and that would occur between 7 and 7:30. Again, in the same setting, open to the public and to the media to attend. So in both cases, you'll be getting a range of options and things to look at, and all the detail will come forward to you in reports. So in terms of proceeding after that, May 19th, we would have a public meeting on the development charges. That's required under the Development Charges Act. Then June 2nd, that would be the development charges bylaw would come forward for approval. June 16th, we would have the public meeting on the metered water rates. So hopefully you'll have selected or given some direction April 21st on where you want to head with those rates. And then we would advertise that and invite the public to come and speak on the rates, and with a bylaw to be approved sometime in July, hopefully at the 7th. So again, we're being very open and transparent. We're going to bring forward lots of options for you to talk about and look at. So again, it would be a time at those meetings to have a full discussion of where you want your metered water rates to sit and where you want to have your development charges in the future.
Lots of work. Lots of
Just a couple of questions. First is, you've got June 2nd council meeting instead of June 3rd?
Yeah, I was gonna mention that.
Yeah,
That's
I think it's
because,
supposed to be the other way, shouldn't it be?
no,
Because I think, isn't the reason we changed it was because of the cancer tournament?
but they moved it to a Thursday.
Well, they moved it to a Thursday.
Go back to the Tuesday now.
Okay.
Sorry. I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah, if it was okay with council, part of our recommendation is that we move back to Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because the Frank Kelly tournament,
Well,
is-
same week, I think, but moved to Thursday. That was it.
I didn't know
Yeah.
for sure we knew that.
I was gonna bring that, but that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that down.
And secondly, I know we have two developmental charges, one for lots that are being prepared new and infill lots. So will that be considered in a bylaw too as two separate developmental charges, or will they consider them as one?
well, yeah, they'll bring back all the options for you. So I think we have commercial and we have residential and we have rural and non-rural. So yeah, those are all being,
I guess I
Kinda
was
come back
talking
on
about
the same.
residential infill and residential
right,
B lots.
right.
And we have two separate ones
Yeah, we-
now,
yeah.
but they'll bring back recommendations of where they want, so we'll have.
That's, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I
I think we
think
need to do that.
we don't have that right now. And that, again, you should see the information that the consultant brings forward to you, and if council wants to go for an infill development charge versus a greenfield development charge, then you'd have to give that direction, so.
Don't we have an infill?
We have some.
Yeah, we did. I think you're mixing
in.
in frontage charges for
Yeah.
infill
Oh.
versus.
That's what you did.
That's a different charge.
Yeah, you did frontage charges. We did frontage charges because we didn't have those before, Ron.
When someone severs off a lot, they
Yeah.
pay a lower rate. That's a frontage charge. It's development charges for new construction.
Okay,
Now,
It's growth-related costs only,
okay, so it wasn't development, it was a frontage charge.
frontage charge.
That's how we got away
did you
with it.
want to look at, we weren't really, did we have the consultants look at development
No.
charges on infield? No, we didn't.
No, we're not, this is not for frontage
No.
charge discussion. This should, in my mind, be just to development charges. If you want us to look at frontage charges, we would need a separate resolution, and we'd have to come back with information on that, but.
But we are,
Can we legally, I know, and I've always asked this question without, where do we grab that frontage charge from? Where do we justify that we need $1,000 for that frontal? That's why we have Watson do it for developmental charges, because we have to justify why we need this much money for developmental charges, because he presents that to us. we have no presentation, we have no, but if somebody come along and say, why am I paying $1,000? Where's that? I know we're putting into it, but where'd you get that $1,000? I always ask that question, and I can't seem to get an answer.
Through you, Mayor Bridge, for referring to frontage charges, we did the costing of water and sewer and storm sewer per infill lot. We prepared that in-house for staff, and we made a recommendation, and I think that amount was roughly $250 a meter. And the developers have been paying that, and that money goes into those various funds to help support those.
So
It goes into water and sewer.
It's not a straight charge, and it's per meter.
Yes.
And I think, Ron, that's the difference. I know what you're saying. We kind of, that's not a development charge, that's a water and sewer
I would
charge.
hate to see us get in trouble for not doing the right thing.
Those charges are fully authorized in my mind. They're exactly the same as someone who does a subdivision, in fact, who pays the full cost of sewer and water. This is a contribution in sewer and water back to the people who installed the sewer and water, which are the users of those facilities right now. So they're fully entitled to collect those under the Planning Act.
I know we can collect them, but I still wonder where, are we entitled, do we not have to have the same people do the recommendation? Or some people like to do that recommendation where we're drawing the money from. I still don't believe that's good enough. I believe that we have to have somebody.
So is your question, where is the authority to collect the frontage?
We have to have some background.
Well, go ahead, Bill.
Mayor Bridge, if I may, if you would like a report on frontage charges, council as a whole, I would need that direction.
No,
This is
but that
nothing to
doesn't-
do with this at all.
No, I understand that. But I think Councillor Elliott's simple question is, where is our authority to collect the frontage?
If I may, the answer to that is under the Planning Act.
Yeah. And we looked at what we thought per meter would cost. We did the cost justification through our own department, through the Planning Act. And we have no pushback on that, I don't believe. And so I think we were fair on that cost. I wouldn't want to have an outside consultant come in and have to pay more to do it again.
I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm suggesting, I don't want to get caught if we're supposed
No,
to.
I don't think.
We have to have, if the justification.
We have the proper authority.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, according to our best knowledge.
Well, Mayor Bridge, we approved that over 2 years ago.
2 years
We've
ago,
been
yeah.
enforcing it.
I understand.
I've collected it in all other municipalities that I've ever worked for, so I believe the authority is there for a frontage charge.
Yes.
Right.
So Mayor Bridge, if you're happy with the recommendation regarding development charges and water rate, then you just need a motion to that effect.
Councilor Turton? Dirksen, all in favor? And is Annalene doing this and you doing this one?
Hopefully not me.
No, Annalene's gonna do it. I can see her jumping up here. So, no trip. Question of support for Save Canada Post.
That's right.
They had the best profits ever. What are we saving them from?
Well, there you go. This is a follow-up that you guys had requested regarding February 3rd council meeting. We had received correspondence from CUPW for the support. So I've just done a little bit of looking into. One of the biggest things that they want supported is the fact that there are municipalities that have to go to your mailboxes and not be home delivered. Currently in all of Minto, it is mailboxes like in large areas, and then rural gets home pickup. That's not going to change with what they are stating at this point in time. So my recommendation really is for us to follow up and monitor any changes that may affect our community, but I'm not seeing that there's going to be any changes to our community at this point in time.
Questions? Motion to accept? Mayor Faulkner, Councilor Turton, all in favor? Thanks, Amy.
Thank you. The second one is an appointment of municipal representative to the Source Protection Committee. We had received information correspondence regarding that from the Drinking Water Source Protection, looking for one. They are going to be covering not only us, but 5 communities. Mert Schneider was the current, and he has stepped down and has resigned. We had Mark McKenzie state that he was interested in this position. It's about 3 meetings per year, and it would be for a 3-year term. I have spoken to a couple of municipalities, and therefore, but they'll have to bring it, of course, to their council as well. But I am asking for your consideration to have Mark step forward and do that for us.
Questions? Motion to accept. Caldwell, Council Sturton, all in favor?
Thank you.
And I'm turning it over to Council Caldwell now.
And the Finance Committee has 3 items on the agenda tonight. And the first one is in regards to the Clifford 2017 homecoming. I'll turn it over to Treasurer Duff.
Okay, thanks, Chair Caldwell. Yes, we have a few things this afternoon. So as you probably heard, the Village of Clifford is having their homecoming in 2017, and their committee is up and running and very active and incurring expenses, I hear, anyway. So they have approached us to see if we would front some money. We would lend them $25,000, and they have pledged to repay that after the event, and it's something that we have done in the past for other similar events, so put that forward for your consideration then.
Just to add to that, I'm on the committee, so 2017 unfortunately, or fortunately, is the 150th anniversary of, so what they're finding is when they're going out to try to get bands and things like that, they have to put deposits down now for these bands, so, because 2017 is going to be very busy, and so these are for marching bands and other things that they're trying to work on. And I've been up with this committee, and I don't think there'll be any problems. They'll raise probably that and over and above that in sponsorship, and probably pay us off. But right now, they really haven't got the sponsorship going. It's 2 years out, and they've got about 35 people on the committee, and they've got the chairs going, and it's quite interesting. And,
Lots of promotional ideas.
but that's why they kind of need seed money a little ahead of time than they normally would, because of the 150th anniversary. So.
Just, I agree with giving 5,000, but, or sending it to them. But I'm wondering if, I'd kind of like to see where they plan on spending the 25,000.
Would you like to see a budget or?
Something, yeah. Me personally, I just say, here's 25,000, and just in case you're gonna get a band.
I know that one of the first expenditures they've had, and Randy Ritz, I think, is the treasurer. He's the one we've been dealing with anyway, is they've incurred some expenses on setting up a website and doing that kind of thing. So that'll be it. And as the mayor says, probably laying down these deposits.
Yeah, there's deposits to make. For instance, I think one of the bands needs like $1,500 deposit 2 years ahead. I'm not anticipating that, as I say, they'll need it even before the event starts. I'm sure that they'll have enough fundraising done by then to probably pay us back, Ron. I
am not concerned about that at all.
I don't think they have a set budget yet, but they need to get this money now to start doing some of those things. Like, I would say it's for putting down payments on bands is basically one of the big ones.
And, well, me personally, I'd just like to see what they're budgeting and what
I
kind
can
of business
request
plan
it
they got
comes
for the event.
forward, but I know they are anxious.
They're a little anxious at this point.
Wondering, is it as needed? Is the 25,000 as needed, or are they looking for the 25 all at one time?
I believe they're looking for the 25 all at one time. Now, we could
Is there any-
phase it if you like. or-
I was wondering if there is a possibility that we could do it in stages, and maybe if Councillor Elliott felt comfortable with.
What's the concern, though? I can't understand the concern.
I just,
like, we've done it for the Lions
I'm
Club.
not, no, and certainly in the Lions Club showed you exactly where the money was gonna go, and what we were spending it on, what we needed the money for, and I believe Clifford, we supported their ball diamond, and they showed us exactly the money needed and why they needed whatever we gave them. And I'm just saying, here, we're giving them 25,000, we're not knowing exactly.
We're not giving them, though, we're loaning them 25,000.
Okay.
Okay.
And go ahead, Ron.
I think,
I was going to give you a motion, so.
Okay.
I'm just going to make a suggestion that they submit a report to council on, in a month or so, saying this is where they've spent the money
Yeah,
After the fact.
after the fact.
I'm be there on Saturday again for the next meeting. They might have a budget done by then, I don't know, Gord. I know they're working on it. What they did say at the last meeting, Ron, was they basically told all the chairs to go out and work out their budget they needed, like for entertainment for the kids and all the other stuff, and they were hoping to have them back for this one, but I'm not sure it'll be done. I know they're a little concerned about losing a couple bands. I'm sure some of them just put the money in if they needed to, but.
That would be great, and I think the town should fully support any venue, but just to say, I guess we need 25,000.
Well, no, that.
You know, I don't know. To me, maybe we need 25,000, maybe we need 10, maybe we need 50, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
they're asking for 25, I assume they know what they need, but
Yeah,
That's what I kind of like to know.
letter.
in the letter, in the second paragraph, they ran
Mhm.
off a few things.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they actually say it in this.
Bands, equipment,
Yeah, we have
tents,
booked bands,
porta-potties.
equipment, tents, porta potties. They have to put all deposits on all these now because of the 150th anniversary, unfortunately. Had it not been the 150th, I think you probably got to get away with this before you could have had your fundraising done. The other thing is, eventually, somewhere down the road, they're quite in tune to having this as a committee of council, if you so wish. I was trying to hold off on that for a little while, only from the standpoint that we had some discussion with the CAO and that all, now with the alcohol policies and everything, and they've had both Mildmay and Carl Gill come in and do reports on how they did theirs, but they ran all their own bars. We won't be allowing them to do that. We'll be doing all their own bars through our policy. And all these facilities will be rented through us, so, I don't know, Bill, we talked about that, but we haven't come back to the council on that, but it might be the way to go, or under, our volunteer policies and whatnot too, so.
Councillor Elliott, would you like to make another motion other than the recommendation that's on the?
I'm just wondering if we get, if we can do it, pass it with the idea that they come back with a business plan showing exactly where they want to spend that 25,000.
You are all right.
Like maybe there's $10,000 they're putting up for bands, I don't know that. Maybe it's, and that's fine, I don't have a problem with it. The problem I have is that they just hate spending money without knowing exactly where my money's going. In my pocket, I wouldn't do it.
Well, I think they'll have their budget within this month or next month pretty well set down, Ron. I can bring the budget back to you at the next one, but I hate to delay it on them if they need some of this up front now.
Mr. Chair, might I suggest that if council's prepared to give the 25,000, that they include in the motion that they file a budget with the treasurer and that it be repaid, I would say by the end of 2017. It gives them time to do their books and everything.
Yep.
So the treasurer can share the budget with finance committee at a later date.
That means yours.
That's
Yeah. Okay, good. Would someone please make that motion? Councillor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Dirksen. All in favor? It's thank you very much.
Okay. Let's try $1.5 million now.
Yeah. And now, Treasurer
yeah.
Duff will speak to you about the North Wellington Healthcare Program.
That's right. So this is one that we have talked about for several years, but informally. So I'm pleased we can now talk about it formally. As you know, the North Wellington Healthcare received approval to construct a rural medical center on the hospital grounds. And again, it's going to be financed partly by the foundation and other local fundraising. But again, it's an expensive project, and they are very tightly regulated with the Ministry of Health, and capital projects are a challenge to fundraise. So they have approached the town of Minto to borrow on their behalf. I've talked to our municipal finance lawyers both, I guess, 2 years ago and last week to confirm that this is a legitimate function. I've also talked to the National Bank, who is our, I guess, bank through the county, if we go that way. It's legitimate, and also Infrastructure Ontario. So you do have the power to do this as part of the scope of municipal affairs. The idea would be that we would borrow on their behalf, and they would pay back the loan payments as they're needed. So if it's twice a year, we would get a check twice a year equal to the principal and interest. So there should be no cash flow implementations. The drawback is it will form part of our annual debt repayment limit and the amount that we can borrow. So it's $1.5 million over 30 years. So we hope to never get near our annual debt repayment limit, which roughly is $11 million over 20 years at 7%, and we borrow a lot less than that too. So if you do go with this, we will be putting that into our capital budget, and you'll see an in and an out. It will be an expenditure funded by this debenture.
I ask,
Certainly.
Mr. Duff, as far as our legal, what's the word? I want to make sure we're covered. as far as-
Contingency?
Yes, that we're legally provided for.
Yeah, this would be like an authorization to go ahead with it, and then we'll draw up a formal agreement with those
Oh,
things, but.
and that will come back to council before it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if on our financial statements, well, I know we'll have to disclose it for sure, and it will be on there too, but we'll try and nail down all the
But if
eventualities and that
any
too.
reason was not able to be made or whatever, there would be stipulations.
We put it in the
as to
agreement.
Protecting ourselves.
Yeah, we think so, best we can.
Chair Caldwell, Gord, who would be writing the check for the payment of the principal and interest?
North Wellington Healthcare Corporation, because that's who's doing it.
Okay, so it's not necessarily the
It
foundations?
wouldn't be the foundation.
Because I know the foundations,
Yeah.
or the foundation, Palmerston is putting a substantial number of amount
right.
of money towards it as well.
The way I see it, they would be one of the major funders, but it's the North Wellington Healthcare
Okay.
would own it and
Yep,
everything
that's what I
like
thought,
that.
I just wanted to clarify.
Sure.
Chair Caldwell, Gordon, you don't have any hesitation.
I don't know. I mean, there's always a slight risk, but I think in view of the people that are on the board, their experience with handling this kind of money, we have direct representation on the board. It's something that fits in with our strategic plan very well. Just chatting this morning, how successful we've been in attracting doctors to this area, and we want to continue that success, and it's kind of BR&E. We want to attract new ones, but we want to retain the ones we have too.
I think we've known this for some time,
Yes.
and I guess where would the board go if we said no?
I think it would represent a real obstacle to them, because could the community at large come up with $1.5 million? They need this money this fall. And as I understand it, there's not a lot of Ministry of Health funding for this kind of thing, and at the very least, it would set them back several years.
Yeah, I really think that they are counting on this, and I think that we've talked about this, we've been talking about it, how long have we been planning for this, so.
2012 at
And,
least.
Yeah. I honestly don't think that, we have a choice,
Oh, certainly.
but I
we do.
think that likely the choice is to support our community and get moving because we need it.
Yeah.
This is something that has been proven time and time again, that we need a facility like this to attract doctors.
That's right.
Just clarify too, one of the reasons why they have gone this way is because the foundation goes to the community to raise funds for them. They're a major fund, so they thought it was unfair to go to the public twice. And so they go to the public for the gala and events like that, and that's one of the reasons. And I concur totally with Councillor Turton, and that this has been in the works a long time. I think it's important that we support it, and let me tell you, I sure appreciate that building being there.
Sure.
Well, and I just counter on the same thing, on the same lines as Councillor Turton and Deputy Mayor Faulkner. We've committed, not this particular council, but the previous council, in principle, committed to this project, and they've been working on this on that basis to get it funded. And I think we're not going to be in any kind of jeopardy. I mean, I was an ex-banker. We got pretty good security there, and as far as how we're going to do it, and we'll do it through the right legal procedure through our lawyer and make sure that all the Ts are crossed and the Is are dotted and whatnot. So I think it's just a no-brainer. We got to get her done, and it's going to be a great benefit to the economic development of the community, so.
Create a few jobs.
Oh, yeah, yep, big time.
Just, I think it's a dumb question, but where do they get their money to pay it back? How do they raise it?
Oh, the
If they're not
North Wellington
using-
Healthcare, primarily the Ministry of Health. Like a little bit of fees
Yep,
and
they're
that
gonna add
too.
that, take it out of their budget money that they get? Or how do
Yeah,
they do
but
it?
again, speaking as a former auditor of a hospital, it's not just their total budgets, it's the per line and that too, so it's difficult to get approvals and that too, but they are good. They have a local board here, and they are not going to be running deficit, so.
Yeah, it's
they
tenants,
have
right?
The tenants
Yeah,
keep paying.
and the
Tenants.
tenants will have
Okay, so
that.
That's how it's secured.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then whatever they bring in.
yeah.
that-
It's very similar to
That
the
makes
one
enough that
in,
they can pay the debt and
that's
pay the
right,
debt.
in Wellington North there
Okay.
too.
Recommendation is that the council of the town of Minto authorize staff to enter into discussion with North Wellington Health Board to assist with the financing of the construction of the Minto Rural Health Care Center, and further that this project be included in the town's 2015 capital budget. May I have someone motion, please? Councilor Churton, seconded by Councilor Turkson. All in favor? And the motion is passed. And our final item on the finance committee is the approval of accounts. I'll turn it back over.
Okay, and continuing, I'm going for over $2 million on this one. There we are. Most of this, of course, is our first quarter payments to the county and the school board. That accounts for about 1.85 million of that.
Oh, okay, so it's not all you, or you're
It's
not
not
just
all
spending
mine, no, just a few handling fees, so there we are. We also have our first half of our Saugeen Valley general levy, $39,000 there. Our volunteer firefighters insurance at around $12,000. Some sand and salt, about $44,000, so we're still right in the middle of winter at that time. So those are the highlights. Just chatting with our Director of Public Services, and while we are spending a lot of money on winter control, it is a lot less than a year ago. So it was a cold winter, but not a particularly snowy winter. So hopefully probably a second one in May, I'll bring a quarterly report to you, and you can have some more detailed figures.
Any questions or comments on the recommendation? Is that council of the town of Minto receive the treasurer's report dated March 23rd, 2015 regarding approval of accounts, and approves the town of Minto accounts by department for March 2015. Will someone make that motion, please? Councilor Dirksen, seconded by Deputy Mayor Faulkner. All in favor? And the motion is passed. Thank you.
Great.
And the chair back
Thank
to
you.
Mayor Bridge. Thank you.
And I'll turn it over to Councilor Turton.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. Today on the Public Works agenda, we have two items. One, a parking issue on Elora Street North and Minto Road, which is our two Tim Hortons. So, surprise, yeah? So, I'll ask one of the fine men here at the front to go ahead and, who's going to be the leader on this?
Well, I'll start on this, Chair. It's an ongoing parking issue. It's been going on for a few years now. The first one being Elora Street in Harrison, at the Tim Hortons there. You still get a bunch of vehicles parked on the side of the road, causing visual obstructions to oncoming traffic trying to get out of Tim Hortons onto the road. Damage to the road itself and asphalt shoulder. Last May, Council passed a resolution asking the OPP to enforce a zero tolerance with the parking there. And even though that did reduce the problem, people still stop and park. It's usually due to mainly the lack of space on the site for the larger vehicles. So the big transports you see parked out there, that's why you get that problem ongoing. Some of the signs have been on a slant to the east, and just pushing the shoulders away from the road, and that undermines the road itself. So then we move into our new Tim Hortons in Palmerston. where we've had vehicles parked on the side of the road again, and on the road. And it's causing damage to the shoulders also. So to enforce no parking or no stopping on Middle Road between Frank LeBeer Court and Main Street West, an amendment to the schedules in bylaw 5000-05 respecting parking and traffic is required. There's been several discussions on how to handle this situation. One was brought up by a Sergeant Coomer last summer, which met with the CEO and clerk. Even though there is no parking signs and no stopping signs at this location, maybe using the barriers, which we call Jersey barriers or delineators, were brought up in certain individual areas along Elora Street in Harrison. And if you look at the map on the bottom of page 2, it shows you the red identification circles there. And maybe placing those in those locations might help for them to notice the signs that are erected, no parking and parking. We also recommend that the OPP be asked to enforce the Traffic Act violations already occurring in both of these locations with zero tolerance. The combination of public education and physical change at both location enforcement will hopefully improve the situation, but that's yet to be seen. So the approximate cost of the barricades would be around $5,000. And additional signage would be around $2,000, so you're looking at $7,000 in that range, which would have to be added to the capital budget because it's not part of the 2015 capital. Any questions?
Questions on this, you guys and girls?
May I,
Yes, Deputy.
Chair
Go ahead.
Turton, the Jersey barriers, what's the shape of them?
If you look at top of page 2, it shows you the shape there and what they would look like. They'd have reflective tape on them.
Yeah, I question those, especially for the winter time. They're going to be a barrier for snow.
They wouldn't be there in the winter. The MTO wouldn't allow them, so we'd have to remove them during winter months.
Then you're still got the parking problem in the winter time. So I can't see that as a solution at all. I have a difficult time accepting that the town should spend $7,000 to cure a parking problem created by a business. And I don't think that's fair to the rest of the taxpayers. If we want to do something like CAO White talked about before, a curb or something like that, that's a different story, but because that's just improving a lot of things. But, I'd be opposed to putting a Jersey barrier.
Mayor Bridge.
Well, I think that's what it would be, like the problem we got into, and I think the reason we can't put curbs out there, correct me if I'm wrong, but until we do, if the subdivision comes in, we want to do it. But this would be a temporary measure until that happened. I mean, doing nothing, I think we're going to get a real backlash from, I'm not saying it's perfect, but at least in the summertime it'll stop it. And that's where our major traffic is in the summertime. And maybe, hopefully, we can get that subdivision going and get that done, like do the curbing that we want. But curbing would cost us how much?
Oh, gosh.
Like $150,000?
Yeah, a lot.
And we can't do it until we actually do the sewer.
No,
That's the
because you got
problem.
drainage.
That's
And we're kind of caught.
I understand that.
But doing nothing, I think, like, it's a dangerous situation out there, and we've, as I say, we've talked to the OPP, and they could sit there all day, and they could ticket all day, and people would still park there. I watched somebody just the other day, it wasn't just one of ours, it was us coming back on Elora Road, in front of the one in Elora, he's parked right beside the no parking signs, and he goes in and gets a coffee. He's taking a chance.
Well,
You know,
apparently,
like that's basically what it costs a coffee, gosh. Maybe we
Apparently
can get
there
Tim
was a
Hortons to
vehicle.
give us so much per cup
yeah.
towards the cost, but I don't think they'll do that.
Apparently, there was a vehicle parked right on the main road highway in Palmerston in the left turn lane.
Yeah, that's right, in the left turn lane.
Put four ways on and went and got a coffee.
That's
I've never
pretty
seen
bold.
it, but that's
Yeah.
That is very bold. Any other questions? Sorry.
I just wanted to make the comment that I agree, it is something that, you know, we shouldn't have to deal with, but we knew going in we did. You saw the company's reaction. We brought this up many times during our discussions with Tim Hortons before it was built in Palmerston. And their bottom line is, you know, they say that they are not, their focus is not on 53-foot trucks.
Truckers
because
are
that takes up a
unwanted.
lot of space for that they could be selling a
One
lot of
person.
cups of coffee to individual cars. So it's obvious that they, you know, that isn't their focus, obviously. So it is our issue, it is our problem.
Other questions?
Can,
Councillor Elliott, go ahead.
sorry, can they, drive down Minto Road or the park there and make a turn?
The-
That's, that was kind of the thoughts that would happen. Could we direct them that way in Palmerston?
They-
No, in Harrison is fine.
They are actually parking along Minto Road. The problem there, no curb again, and what they're doing is they're beating up the nice landscaping in front of Noon's dentist office. They're blocking the repair garage in behind Tim Hortons, their driveway. That situation, there's no parking signs, period, so that one, that should help alleviate the problem. At least we'll put up the signs and see what the reaction is. Over in Harrison though, yeah, the signs they're there, but they're just not obviously listening to them at all. The comment about waiting until that subdivision in Harrison goes, just keep in mind that we've been discussing it since '05. So to say these barriers are only gonna be there a year or two, you don't necessarily know that.
Councillor Colwell.
I guess I'm asking, what is the solution? We thought the solution, saying Palmerston, was to park on Minto Road. Now you're saying that isn't feasible. So I mean, you know, the truckers want to stop for a cup of coffee. So I guess I'm looking for suggestions here. What can we do to give them a place to park, not right in front of Tim Hortons, not blocking traffic? Is there anything that we can do for the truckers to allow them to stop in the vicinity of either the Tim Hortons to get a cup of coffee?
Even in Harrison, like where the barriers are, basically they go to the edge of the urban center. That's where the no parking goes to currently. It's not a fact that there's no place, you know, in the vicinity to park. It's the fact that it's a lot easier to park right at where you need to go.
But there is alternatives.
There is. Basically, we're just pushing them further away from Tim Hortons. Brian's example about stopping and putting your four-ways on in the left turn lane doesn't show you don't know the rules. It shows you that you're too lazy to actually find a spot to park properly and access the business.
In Palmerston, there is an alternative as well that wouldn't be quite as...
It's basically, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be pushing them back further on Minto Road and pushing them back further along County Road 123.
Truck drivers are pretty creative. Councillor Elliott.
Wasn't that thought too, once that there's supposedly a gas station going up there, and there was supposed to be a large lot involved, and there was something that thoughts that they would go in and get gas and a place for them to turn at least park in a parking lot at one time?
That was one of the initial proposals, but
Did that ever,
it
did that ever go?
didn't occur.
So there's, with that being built, or any of the side roads being built, it's not going to happen, then we don't have a place for them to turn down.
Mr. Chair, we have one lot beside Grant's storage building, we could make that parking, but then you're taking that out of the possibility of having it developed. So
I can tell you right now, they're not gonna park that far away.
Put up a sign, tell them to go to Tivadale Truck Stop. There's room there.
They have problems down
Well-
there too. I mean, when the trucks pull in there, they've got ruts as deep as,
Oh, yeah, you lose a small car in there.
what's it cost to park there illegally?
Parking in a no parking area, I think it's $20. if
So
you
how
pay
many-
within 15 days.
How many tickets have been given out?
I don't have the stats on that.
I think that's a legitimate question. I mean, we do count on our OPPs to help us out, and I mean, this is a traffic Act violation, is it not?
It's actually a municipal bylaw
Okay, so,
infraction, but the OPP are on contract to enforce it.
yeah, okay.
Mr. Chair, might I make a suggestion that we break things out a little bit here, and maybe get some consensus around the no parking and no stopping areas in Palmerston, and the zero tolerance on the Traffic Act violations? And then you would vote on those, or someone might entertain a motion on that. That would put that aside, and then you can deal with the barriers and whether you want to pursue some kind of barriers in Harrison or not.
Okay, so we've got two items. Does somebody want to make a motion on the possible Palmerston one?
I'll make that motion.
All right. So basically, the motion is to approve the amendment to bylaw 500-05 to prohibit parking and stopping as outlined for Palmerston. So that's the first one. And so we need a seconder for that. Thank you, Councillor Caldwell. So can we make these two motions? So everybody understand the first motion? Is there any other questions relating to that motion to do with Palmerston? Hearing none? All in favor of that?
Yeah, but I have one point I'd like to make.
Go ahead.
Are we
Councillor.
talking about the whole of Minto Road?
No, just from Main Street West
Did
to
I missing
Frank
that?
Lambier Court. Just the item that's...
Oh, okay, now I
colored
see
in
it. Sorry, I
yellow.
missed it before.
Okay.
Good.
Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
All in favor of that motion? Against? That's carried. Second motion then, can we have a motion for the second one? The second one being the Laura Street North in Hairston in reference to Jersey barriers. Councillor
No,
Caldwell.
I'm not making a motion. I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Can you just explain the barriers a little more, how far out they'll be?
Basically...
Like the drums, are we talking, or are we talking the other?
And that's going to be at your discretion, which you recommend. Basically, either one is a plastic water-filled barrier, and they'd sit on the shoulder. Obviously removed, I would say probably sometime in October and not put back until end of April or May. And essentially, you want something that if a vehicle does happen to travel off the road and hit it, it's not going to kill anybody, but it's an obstruction. Obviously, people don't want to hit stuff with their vehicles, but it's just an obstruction to prevent people from parking there.
The trucks still park on the other side of those barriers, blocking the entire lane.
They could still park in between them if they're spaced far enough apart. If you look at the aerial photo, you actually see a transport truck that's parked on what's now called Tuffy McDougall Court. So they could still park right in front of the road, which they'd be notorious for doing. Basically, anywhere they can, they could.
But you're going to hope these barrels are close enough that they can't get in between them.
Yeah,
that would
be
the difference between that and the signs. The problems with the signs is if they can't get in between them, they'll push them over.
Well, the signs are always off the shoulder.
Yeah,
so
it would be right in the median.
It's just the weight of the truck that's pushing the granular away from, and the sign goes with it.
Yeah, Mayor Bridge, go
The
ahead.
other option is, and I'll tell you right now, we've talked to the OPP, and understand this is a $20 ticket. It's not one of their top priorities. They could sit there all day, but then would we be using our OPP for the proper purpose? The other option is if you want to hire a bylaw officer or separate or contract it out, you could have somebody sitting out there nailing everybody all the time. But we don't get any of the money, so we'd have to pay that. So that would be another option to do for a while. But again, as soon as you stop it, they're not there all the time. I don't think we can give Willie a book,
Keep in mind, over in Palmerston, I'm not sure if it's the county or if it's Perth, have actually put
well, they've destroyed it.
your barriers up on the Perth side of the road, and my personal opinion, they're not the most attractive thing around.
They're ugly.
And this is driving right through Harrison, prime summer months when we get all the traffic.
We did come up with spike strips, but we thought that was
Little severe?
yeah.
But that is an alternative, okay? And that's kind of what we're looking for here is,
Perhaps, if I might,
Yes, go ahead. Deputy Mayor Faulkner.
Councillor Turton, that we should defer this particular motion and look for more alternatives. I'm personally not satisfied with any of the ones I've seen so far or heard. And I would make that a motion.
And we have a seconder for that. Thank you, Councillor Caldwell. Everybody understand that? Is that okay, CAO White? Is that dodging, sitting
Oh,
on the
that's
fence?
good.
No, okay.
I just make
Go ahead,
one
Mayor.
comment. We can't delay it forever, though. We can't just make it a deferral. We gotta come back with something, and we have to do something, because the public out there are getting mad about it, and understandable. And my other concern is the safety issue, especially on the side where the Tim Hortons is in Harrison. If you've got a truck parked there and somebody comes whipping out of there or tries to come out enough to, and somebody goes whipping through and hits them, they can't see.
I'm surprised nobody's.
I'm surprised we haven't had a bad accident there yet. So if the council wants to defer it, I all agree with that, but let's bring it on to the next, as soon as possible, bring it back, because we're getting into the prime driving season, where we're gonna have a lot more traffic in front of that.
CAO White, do you want
Bring
to?
that, if you want it in 2 weeks, that would be in part of the motion, or?
Yep.
Want it
That
next
gives
month?
staff enough time?
Sure.
If it doesn't, it'll come back.
Yeah,
Well, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
We
right.
have to make a decision.
We can
somehow.
debate this to death. and-
So can we have a mover, please, for this? Or do we have?
We have to.
Okay, so we have that. All right, great. So,
So just
go ahead.
for, if we could, we have to deal with the first motion somehow. It's been on the table, so we have to either.
What's the first
We
motion?
voted on the first one.
What's,
No,
No.
don't
You're
you
talking
have
about
a
the
motion on-
recommendation.
Oh, you don't have a motion to table on the
I don't
second?
think so, Ron.
yeah, the motion to table is on the floor, I
yes,
think.
to
And there
defer
was
it
a discussion as to time, so you're saying 2 weeks?
2 weeks?
Okay.
Is that enough time?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want that part of the
I didn't know
motion?
whether you'd had the first motion brought forward.
Okay. To defer it for 2 weeks to be brought forward at the next council meeting.
So we have a mover and a seconder. All in favor of the motion? Against? That's carried. Thank you. Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck to all of us. We'll pass the chair back to our
Oh, no,
mayor.
you still got one more.
Oh, we do?
Request for
Oh, we do.
quotations and tenders.
Pardon me. We got 2, 3,
Get
4.
rid of this.
Yeah. Second item?
Mike dressed up for this.
Mike? Have we ever seen you with a tie on in
Oh, yes.
open council?
I wear them all the time.
So the second item is the request for quotation and tenders, and we have 4 that we want to accept. So Mike, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, we had 2 requests for quotations sent out and 2 tenders for roadside grass cutting, street sweeping, maintenance gravel, and calcium chloride, or the dust depressant. All the submissions are listed as just depending on which tender or FQ they were in, with the low submission highlighted in yellow. We've reviewed all the submissions, and all 4 low bidders actually are the same as last year's. We've had really good luck with all the contractors involved with these submissions. The only big change from last year's well was the calcium chloride, which the per flake price is actually down about $14 from last year, and the other prices are basically the same.
Questions? Mayor Bridge?
On your Guelph Power sweeping,
Yep.
we had concerns last year, was brought up to the Downtown Revitalization Committee in Palmerston about the quality of their work, whether they did a real good job or not. Are you concerned at all? I just want to bring it up because it's going to be, I'm sure Belinda's going to get it at the next downtown, that they didn't feel that the sweeping was done well enough in Palmerston. That was the only complaint I got, but I just want to let you know that.
Yeah, I think that was the only complaint that we did have. The operators were very willing to work with us. I can't remember right offhand if it was just the actual amount of dust that was coming from the machine, and it's going to happen with no matter what contract. You can only put so much water out. If it seems to work the best if it is damp already, but it depends on when they're there. If it's really windy, it's going to dry it out a lot quicker, and the dust is going to be a lot more. It was probably just the day that they were there.
And if I can extend a little bit of info on that, like we were there and we did the first round to take up the access of it with our sweeper that's on the
Okay.
front of the backhoe.
Yep.
And then the Guelph Power Sweeping came in after, and Harrison's fine, Clifford's fine, and I don't know why the access dirt or debris on.
Can you remember what the thing was? Ah,
No, okay.
okay. I couldn't remember exactly, I just remember that, okay. Right,
So that we didn't get the cars moved.
well, they,
Is that, okay.
Mike, is that something that we can cure?
Well, we do all the downtown cores throughout the night so that we don't run into that problem. But if there's people parked on Main Street, without us actually tolling, we can't.
You saying you're out there at 4 AM, loud equipment at 4 AM?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
I
Councillor Elliott?
think they thought that they didn't do them in off hours, that they were done during the day, didn't it? I thought that was the case.
I think it was the car thing, I do.
Well, if
I think it was a
I,
car thing too.
in fact, I remember them going down the street in the afternoon. So,
They were, we wouldn't be able to sweep downtown during
so
the
you,
day.
I didn't see it then?
They,
Yeah,
Yeah. It's impossible to sweep during the day downtown.
I know, I think that was concerned.
So Mike, take that with you, put that in
Yeah.
your hat,
Yeah.
and try and solve that.
yep, for sure.
Any other questions?
So moved.
Okay, so the recommendation then is that the council receive this report from the Public Works Director and the road foreman dated April 1st, 2015 regarding RFQs and tenders, and approves the awarding of the RFQ 2015-01 to the Guelph Power Sweeping at a price of $85 per hour for street sweeping, the RFQ 2015-02 to S&E Lawn Care and Snow Removal Limited at a price of $7.75 per kilometer for the roadside grass cutting, and tender 2015-03 to Elmer Dennison Contracting Limited at the price of $7.45 per ton of A gravel, and a tender of 2015-04 to Dali Dust Control at the price of $300.62 per flake ton of calcium chloride. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Deputy Mayor Faulkner. Mayor Bridge, all in favor of the motion? Against? That's carried. Thank you very much, you guys.
Thank you.
Pass the chair back to our mayor.
Thank you. And we're at other businesses closed. Ron, did you want to, Ron, you want to go up first? Other business? Was it, oh, this Ron, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Today.
You're good today, Ron. Okay, sorry, Ron.
Just note that the 16 IPM is coming along nicely. Been down to Cornwall to the convention and made a presentation, and we were at the Drayton Farm Show and had a great response from there. We got, I think, a lot of volunteers come out of that one. And our media kickoff for the property, the site, as well as introducing the host farmers and other dignitaries will be on May the 14th from 1 to 3. And all the media have been or will be contacted very shortly.
Do they have to plow?
They don't have to plow that day. No. No.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. April 24th, everybody got a, or most people got a reminder of the Maitland Valley Conservation Authority fundraiser in Brussels Community Center. And I never brought the paper, but
What's the date?
it's April 24th.
Saturday.
I got it down as the 24th. Is that correct?
Is that a Saturday?
That's a, no, that's a
That
Friday.
is, the
That's a Friday.
24th is a Friday.
Yeah.
Usually is a Friday.
Yeah, okay. So I have tickets, but it's limited, so if anybody's interested in coming.
Did we not get a table?
We usually do,
Before?
sometimes we do. Terry, in the last 4 years, Terry's looked after it, so I've got tickets if anybody's interested in going. Thank you.
And Judy?
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to remind everybody about the Palmerston District Hospital Gala that's coming up. I neglected to bring my book with me, so I'm not sure whether it's 23rd or the 30th of May.
23rd.
23rd, okay, May 23rd. And Dan and Tracy Hill from Hairston are the co-chairs. The theme is Fire and Ice, and this is a huge fundraiser for the Palmerston District Hospital Foundation, so if you're able to come, that would be great. And just wanted to mention that over the past few weeks, on 3 different occasions, I have heard good comments about our staff. People from the community praising our staff for their customer service and their knowledge and their ability to get things done. And that's not always the kind of stuff we hear. So I just wanted to pass that on to you and make council aware of that as well. These are a couple of them were business people, and one of them was a resident. So kudos to you.
Anything else? I just remind everybody about the mayor's breakfast starting this Friday or this Saturday. No, Friday. Yes, this Friday in Clifford,
9 o'clock.
and then next Friday in Hairston, and the last one in Palmerston. So come out and have a good time. Moved by Councilor Turton, second by Councilor Elliott. The committee of the whole convenes into regular council meeting. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Caldwell, second by Councilor Dirksen, that the Council of Town of Minto ratifies the motion made in the committee of the whole. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Elliott, second by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, that the bylaw number 2015-31 to authorize the site servicing agreement with Deborah Malto to address severances conditions on B2314 and B2414, B25 and B14 to B2614, and B2714 be reduced to read first, second, and third time and passed in open council. And seal the corporation. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Turton, second by Councilor Elliott, bylaw number 2015-32 to amend the appointment bylaw number 2014-89 be introduced and read first, second, and third time, passed in open council. And seal the corporation. All in favor? Moved by Deputy Mayor Faulkner and second by Councilor Caldwell, the bylaw number 2015-33 to amend parking bylaw 500005 be introduced and read first, second, and third time and passed in open council. Seal the corporation. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Dirksen, second by Councilor Turton, the bylaw number 2015-34 to confirm the proceedings of the April 7th, 2015 committee and council meeting be introduced, read, and first, second, and third time and passed in open council. Seal the corporation. All in favor? Agreed.
Mayor Bruce, just we'll take a moment after we're done to set up for the open house.
Yep.
So members of the public are welcome to ask questions of anyone who is here, but it is a very informal procedure. So
Yes.
when we move out of this, we're not leaving, we're staying to.
Everybody can take a bit of a quick break and then come back into the council chamber. Moved by Councilor Caldwell, second by Councilor Elliott, that Council of the Town of Minto adjourn to meet again at the call of the mayor. All in favor? Thank you for a good meeting. Oh, well, you do that, all right? That's